Hello everyone. Right now, I'm in a very silent place. It's 1 a.m. I'm outside in this accommodations yard, and there's nothing. There's no one here. And you see how much noise distracts us from what is there. And so in other words, silence, just like any teacher who has spoken to you has teachings to tell you. I would like to speak about levels of completion. And so what that immediately means is that right now you have some plans you're going to do tomorrow, the day after, and continuously on, which is your life here. You're planning it because you're using the wit of the modern man, and you're looking around you and you're seeing to get involved in life means to get involved in decisions that could be a bit insensitive to, let's say, the sensitivity of someone who is just living a beautiful life, you know. But when that occurs, your definition of beauty must change. And so what that means is that when something stops you, you see the movement that has stopped you. And when you are moving, you see what has not. When we think of levels of completion, there's first your human aspect that we see, the one who's here to do something. So I'm going to very quickly talk about this aspect because it's not something to really talk about. Life will teach you this part, so don't worry about it. You don't need to study for it. You just need to be excited about what's coming by knowing what's coming. And in a sense, a direct path will eventually build up an interest for you to experience something more than just a direct path. And so many people have done magnificent feats both in the material plane and both in other planes. And you know, sometimes some great feats is how life forces itself into expression. And so we see a lot of beings, their dances have opened the worlds of image to eyes that always saw creation. And so after you have done your greatest deed and you're, in a sense, maintained your physical responsibilities, you know, social responsibilities, you will see that you bring great change by first seeing what great change means. And so when you look at what great change means, you see that if you are seeing a bad world everywhere you're going, then you need to change your view. And so one level of incompletion turns into a level of completion because you see why you're in it, why you're in where you are. If you look at the beauty of the intelligence of a wind, the wind is the greatest teacher ever. Very spontaneously, it just blows at times, and it pushes you, and it challenges you, and you recognize that, not that you just need to get a better jacket, but that spontaneous things coming in your life give you an ability to develop your mind and being curious about why you're here. As you become curious in why you're materialistically here, you first question it from outside. Do I believe in this or not? Then you go experience it. After you've experienced it, you simply cannot be maintained, and you've been heated up to experience perhaps what I've coined as a gas body, which is a sense of nothingness, but is a sense of creator. These are abstract concepts, by the way, because we don't want to say any of these ideas are true, because then they're chained to a shape people are seeking, and because they look for shapes in words, if it's not the right shape, they judge you. In a sense, every person who's your hater, who's judging you, is just showing you how their mind works. If I'm sitting down in a park and, I see a mobster or something like that, I see some aggression by a human being to another human being, or even to me, before I move, I know where I'm moving to. And so if you're in a condition with someone who is angry, there are people, they are simply not maintaining their internal reality well, and so they're trying to change the external. I believe one of the first things that could define a very efficient and capable human being, and a very aware one, is one of being able to make a decision to act, regardless of the act. Just begin moving. If you've sat on a chair too long, and your legs are numb, so begin moving your legs. Begin moving. You see that as you move, your life will remind you why you're here. You will remind yourself why you're here. Because you will see very clearly that on some level there is a subtle layer of judgment, because without that judgment you wouldn't know what to do tomorrow. So you keep a level of judgment, but as you keep it there, it's just like how you keep, are you worried about a plate in your cupboard right now? No. But you can always access it when you go there. And so what that means is that if you stop thinking in a certain way, it doesn't mean you're gonna never have access to that. You need to realize that if you are more convinced by your story than the story of what is exactly in front of you, then you're a fool, because you're self-entertaining yourself in confusion, and so it is sloppy. And this is my opinions, of course, guys, but the reason I say sloppy, because I know the human being can be so capable. Guys, a lot of people think judgment is a bad thing also, not that, it has different views, It's like heads and tails, and some people are thinking with their heads and others are just looking at tails too long. So you need to remember that when you walk, you know how to walk. That plate in the cupboard is there because you put it there. Now let's say, you forget. What happens when you forget? Does Judgment Day happen? Does an apocalypse happen? Does the world turn differently? What happens when you forget something? Nothing happens. And you see, man is always confronting a sense of nothing and just being here, but at the same time is also at times getting very complexly entangled in his co-creation that is tuning his attention to ideas he has as a being who's projecting a self-reflective reality. It's very interesting. I want to say this just because I want it to be heard by humanity. Let's say if you suddenly see that there is something blocking your eyes, you would try to get rid of it, right? Normally that is what you would do. You would try to get rid of what's blocking your eyes. In other words, if you were watching a movie, if something was there, that would happen. Now, what if what was in front of you that was blocking your eyes was your own eyes? Your own programming and your own design, and how everything you think of, which you think it's from someone else or another person, is all happening internally through you. So that means is that to wake up as a being means your humanity is being experienced on such a level where it's not just human anymore, you know? And what I mean by this is you gotta realize, guys, these concepts are just words. And so these words are meant to inspire, because as they inspire, they begin moving man's mind towards why there is even a mind for all men, you know? Why are you alive? And so you see, the question inspires you to act, but let me say it this way, the problem inspires you to act. But the answer, but the answer is there before you are as well. And so it is all you. All that I'm saying is that it is you. You will see that the cloud will smile at you. And so celebration will turn into the beauty of totality. We are gifted with many things in this life, and one of them is the ability to wonder to such an intensity that we get rid of our own eyes that are blocking our view. A view doesn't belong to anyone, but you feel your eyes belong to someone. And so I personally believe a great view is not just seen by my eyes. It cannot be. Because in a reality where I'm speaking to you like this, what works will soon to be seen to not work, to then inspire you again to look at it differently, and then it would work. You see, you can activate your consciousness, and I'm saying this very playfully. You can activate your consciousness by, in a sense, being aware of a memory to a degree that memory affects your state of being, and then with that state of being, you enter the present. So sometimes I have closed my eyes and I have entered and journeyed back through my memory, and I have remembered some great moments in my existence. And then with that knowing, I have come back and walked to school, for example, when I was younger. So I'm saying, in a sense, my walk changed when I realized that it's not just my walk, and that the walker is actually an experience of not just the ground and every other view, but an unknown potential to be known more, to be and known more. Oh, beloved, be known. Now, to direct this talk to its complete destination, I would like you to listen to me And don't try to interpret what I'm saying because I'm going to talk fast. And with your own intuitive sense of what to do next, either decide to really hear it or, just continue on. I'm sure what you need to see of my video, you will see. What you need to hear. Okay, so let us begin. When I was younger, I looked at completion as something that I had to do immediately for the sake of my survival in my environment and social environment. Eventually, as it progressed, my life reminded me that it is okay to go through pain. It is okay to suddenly see that everything you have seen is wrong. And you will feel that the rug is pulled from under you, and your nationality has gone with it as well. And not that its nationality has gone with it, every nationality that you have ever had is gone with it too. Every face you have seen is gone with it too. And so you see the blissful blessing that is someone else pulling a rug off under you is to show you of the greater potential you can have. And so my past is my own creation and I take responsibility for it. My assumptions of the future that are making me consider the present are all my creations, and I acknowledge it and take responsibility for it. My present is my gift, and I completely take responsibility for it, and I open it with the wisdom of existence, with the wisdom of the cosmos. You may choose to consider yourself to be alone, but once you examine that thought and go to its core, and once you enter that pool, which is like a mirror infused in a mirror, infused in a mirror, you will see that the stories will stop, and you have gone so far back where your mouth was never open, but able to say any other story. There are ways you can experience reality which at first you need to introduce to yourself. You need to realize the spiritual progression, or this consciousness that many people believe is rising, is actually not rising, it is being reintroduced. That's it. And what that means is, right now, every day, every moment of your being, allow yourself to see the different quality of experience, the different flow. In other words, sometimes I walk, and in my walk I see so many ideas fly by. And so it's beautiful, because I feel like I am moving between the stars, between distance and no distance. It is very interesting where my life, I guess if I could say very interestingly, is that I was a man who, a few years ago especially, was lost in a mist, and I was confused, and I felt life was going slow. So I was lost in a mist, and I want you to take that imagery, because what I did and what I personally found life, in a sense, did as I just continued, is that I recognized that I was the mist as well. That I was my enemy, because who else could put the hatred in me of an enemy? Where are my emotions being generated from? And you see, it is from a place that realizes your body of thought was never just a body. And so your life will show you many things. It will open doors for you that you will not understand how they could have opened. You will be given unknown moments in life, and so appreciate those and treasure those. Treasure the moment where you say, I don't know. because that question is taking you to the center of Earth and to the center of the idea of Earth. And it is continuously going within itself. And so you will see that man's mind will develop to utilize his subtler imagination to reintroduce all his segmented past and senses of future into a moment of profound fusion and being. I am very playful, and what that means is that I don't just approach things lightly, is that I am playful with even experiencing very serious levels of expression. And so what that means is you can feel whatever you like to, but then your nature of being is always laughing at that sense of self that is not. Because why not be in the joy of life, in the joy of being and existing right now? Guys, get to know your presence. Go relax. Go appreciate this. It's as if that's why I call it a gift. To really realize the intensity of who you are is a beautiful journey. And you will see that there is a wisdom that comes like a breeze and also like a podcast. But you will see that eternity can be nothing but the absorption of all reality within a presence that we so playfully say you. You will realize there have been men in this reality who have recognized the nature of reality to such an intensity that they realize it is not something to communicate. And so it's not that we don't have a map, many people feel, but it's that we're also lost on the other side of the city. And so when people feel that way, they need to get closer to the city, to the place they need to be, to that moment. And so you will see that if you choose to perceive an incomplete sense of self, life will give you it. But after it has given it to you, it will also take it back. And so, why I'm saying playfully, because you see it is just like a dance. It's the dance of lovers. So in other words, very beautifully and very holistically and lovingly, I would like to say, see that your mind and your body and the soul are always dancing with one another in realms that are intense beyond imagination. Find yourself through all lenses. Much blessings and namaste.